What's up? So who we got in the chat? See one already in here. Can you hear me? If you can hear me, put a little thumbs up in the chat. See there. See here. So who do we have in the chat here? What's up, Dee Dee? Sweet Candy Yams, what's going on? Popping in. O'Neill, Gate Advisory, what's going on? What's going on? Just checking in with you guys today. I was feeling real good about some of you guys had asked me to try with the strawberries, with the birds been taking my strawberries, right? I'm gonna speak to a couple of people here. My first time catching you live. What's up, Broke? What's happening, my brother? Uh, the Gemini 5818 says it's the first time catching me live. Thanks for all the knowledge. I appreciate that. What's up, Dee Dee in the heat? I can hear you. Okay, everybody say they can hear me. Uh, Jam Janet, what's going on? Hey, family. Uh, what's that? Y'all gonna have to excuse me with pronouncing some of these names. Jesseria, Charleston, hello, handsome. What's up? Uh, Wanna crafty grandmama. Great to see you. Broke, hit the like button. That's what's up. I'm gonna speak to you a couple of guys before. What I want to do, I'm gonna just kind of break away for a minute while everybody comes in. G Mama Grows, what's happening? Let's see who else is here. Gator Vision, what's going on? Bright Harris, what's going on? Uh, let's see who. But I just finished working on my little grapevine trellis. So I wanted to kind of pop in and just kind of give you guys a little update on what's going on with that. Y'all give me a little what you think about this. It's my little grapevine trellis. It's not finished, but I just got through working on it today. So come out here, wanted to kind of show you guys. Right here we got a Concord. I'm sorry, that's a Mars grapevine there. And I got to choose my leaders. But we just put the cattle panel up there today. Got some fence posting to give a little security to it. I'll back off it a little more so you can see the whole thing. So that's basically what I was popping in for. I kind of got through working on my little grapevine trellis. Wanted to kind of show you guys what I was doing. Right here, we're gonna have some pole beans going up here. So I got to finish the cattle panel that's going to go here. On each side, there's going to be a cattle panel. So we're going to be growing some pole beans up there, most likely navy beans, which is one of my favorites because we make the baked beans. That's a 4x2x17. And I would be happy to take some suggestions as to what to plant along with those navy beans that are going to go up this trellis here. So this is what you guys were asking for, not the obelisk here. Look at those beautiful kale. So yeah, that's Vape's kale there. But that is my Chase Lounge that I finished last week, and I was showing you guys on the night view. And you can see the little cattle panel. Let's see here. That's the cattle panel that we added to the Chase Lounge, and we're going to be growing some grapes up there, probably an Everest. I just ordered an Everest. I had one that's a volunteer, but I'm not going to use it because it's going to take a couple of years before it starts to produce some berries. So I ordered an Everest, and we're going to put the Everest on here. Somebody was asking about the lights. Little candle lights here. I think it's pretty cool. Yeah. Y'all know I like to have it a little sweet out here too, so. Yeah. But this is the cattle panel on the Chase Lounge getting repurposed. We had a storm maybe 2 years ago that ripped the top off of this thing. So we haven't really been using it. It's very unpractical to use. So what I did was just put me some pipe foam on it. And I got to give, what is it? I can't even think of the name of the channel now that gave me this idea. They had these on their greenhouse, these foam pads. I got these from Tractor Supply. You can get them from Lowe's or anywhere. They go on your pipes. But I seamed it together. You can see it fused together there. It looked pretty good. Use some tape, some glue to fuse that together. Got the cattle panel strapped to it, and we're gonna be growing our grapevines up it. So I'm gonna come back to the chat now. Oh, and let me just let you see these blackberries because they are going wild right now. I gotta train the blackberries a little better because they're taking down my fence that I had up for them. So, but they are putting on like crazy. All the berries there. I mean, they are going crazy. So if you're growing blackberries and you have in a little raised bed, you might as well forget that. There's 3 plants. That's all that is, 3 plants in this one bed here. And this bed is 12 feet long and 3 plants are taking it up. That middle one is the mother plant. That's where I got the cuttings from to grow these. Got my alfalfa coming up really good. The ones that are taking off now, I just sprayed them the other day with some calcium acetate, and that's why they're greening up now. But that's alfalfa there. And I use that in my FPJs. But going back to the cattle panels over here, go back to the Chase Lounge, because this is one of my little favorite little gadgets now. That's my Chase Lounge. We'll be growing our grapevines up the cattle panel here. Like I say, it's been unseasonably dry in Georgia for June. I'm sorry, for April and May. Let me come back to the chat here. Let's see here. So it's been unseasonably dry. Like I said, this time of the year, my grass is usually like a golf course out here and it's looking rough. So basically all I've been doing is just keeping the garden itself fertilized. I haven't put out a lot of my plants out because I'm one of those that's firm on not putting them out until after May. So we're gonna go back down to the chat and see what G Mama says. That's beautiful. Tapping that like button to help support the channel. That's right. And not only the like button, there's a little button on the side that send those balloons or whatever. What's going on, Mike's Chaotic Gardening? Appreciate you coming in. Let's see, I'm gonna go back up a little bit and read some of the chats. Brighton Harris, nice. The Analytic Gardener, what's going on? She says she loves it. Mike's Chaotic Garden, double tap the screen. Click the thumbs up. That's right, double tap that screen because that's the one we want right there. Brother, have a foolproof way to naturalize the birds and squirrels off of your stuff. Hit my box. Drop me a little line. Inquiry at growingoutthebox.com. That's Francis Faulkner saying they got a way for the birds. Well, let me show you what I came up with. You know, the same way that I share everything with you guys share with me as well. This is something that I said I would not do. Feel almost stupid doing it, but this works. Those are fake strawberries right here. Those are fake strawberries. Now look at what we have here. That's a real strawberry. So this is working. I've had this over here now for about a week. Of course, those are not ripe all the way. But got some more strawberries coming in down there. Those are fake strawberries. These are real ones here. Those are real strawberries there, so they're about ready to hop. Matter of fact, I might take these off tonight. Those are real strawberries, real strawberries. See, that's not all the way ripe. Real strawberries. And they are not bothering. Oh yeah, this is the strawberry planter that I made from a roll-up door from a warehouse. Got some of my corrugated metal on the end. I use my bead roller and foot press to curve that metal. So I used to work on automobiles and doing fabrication, so that's a little metal piece that I made there. Some metal conduit that we welded together. And this is our strawberry planter. This is a roll-up door from a warehouse. That's what I was showing you guys the other day when the lights were going out. But this is what's happening up under there. Got strawberries all over here. So this little trick is working. Some more strawberries there. Look how big those babies are. This little trick is working. That's a real strawberry. I'm going from here. These are real strawberries up here. So I've been using the decoys down on the other ones because this is the one that they were really getting to. All of these are real strawberries up here. Let's see here. It's a real strawberry. Yeah. They're just coming in because we're playing with this weather down here in Georgia, and this is like what I do. Now the key to what this thing is, and I started to put my cam out here to show what the birds are doing, but you cluster all of these together to make it real appetizing for them. But you got to keep moving them maybe every other day because the birds are not as stupid as you think they are. They'll figure it out after a while. But what I'll do is I'll take these and then I'll move them over to another bed. You can see I have some up top here. Make it really easy, accessible for them so they recognize that red. And basically all you're doing is training them that that color does not mean good. So when they see that, they'll come down, tap on those, or even give them a little peck, and then they'll go on about their business. Basically all you're doing is just training them. So here's a strawberry. That's a real strawberry there. Hadn't been touched. They were taking all the strawberries until I did this. And I have to thank you guys for making that suggestion because I thought it was stupid. I'm not even gonna tell you a lie. I thought it was crazy. But it seems to be working. Like I said, look at the turgo on those babies. That's that fulvic acid extract that I spray on it, make them stand up like that. Love that. All of them. I'll give you a better look of it. Roll-up door. Yep, that's a roll-up door cover. If you ever been in like a Walmart or a Sam's and you walk in and those little blowers coming down, I met a guy that was working on one of these doors and I asked him, could I have the cover? And this is what it turned into. So, yep, fake strawberries. That's right, fake strawberries. So let me turn this camera back around. So let me get down here and read the chat a little bit. So let's see here. Do I have raspberries? Yeah, raspberries in that bed with them. The raspberries, like I said, the spring has been extremely dry here in Georgia. Usually this time of year we've had rain throughout of, April, and the garden is really greened up, but not a whole lot of that going on right now. So I basically just been keeping the beds watered. We're supposed to get a little rain tomorrow, but last time we had 100% rain in it sprinkled for about 20 minutes. I guess that was that 100%, and then it disappeared. But yeah, I have raspberries in that same bed, but the blackberries have taken over, so I pretty much have donated that to the, matter of fact, let me take you over here and I'll show you the, I have some over here. And my figs came back even after that last frost. Figs came back, and not only did they come back, we actually have some figs on it. We putting out figs already. This is a brown turkey. Now we had that last frost came in and it knocked it all the way back. But she came back with a vengeance. And she's looking really good. I sprayed her with some of that fulvic acid extract. She's popping. Yes, sir. Probably about 8 feet tall now. But for the person that was asking about my raspberries, you gotta look. These are yellow raspberries here. They're just now coming up, and I gotta prune off all of these because this is no good. But those are yellow raspberries there. Got some jade beans coming up there. Some eggplants. Those are black beauties. Some peppers. This is my brassicas here. This is a burgundy. This is a burgundy raspberry here. I've already pruned her back for the year, but she's coming in really good. I just sprayed them yesterday with our fulvic acid extract, and what that does is it builds up the sugars in the leaves, and the insects will start to leave it alone, because you notice I started getting some insect bites on there. These are delicate, very delicate leaves for the insects, and they'll go through these things. But you spray it with that fulvic acid extract, and that builds up the bricks in it. Right here we got a Mariglobe tomato. She is extremely doing well. Got tomatoes on her already. Yep, she's got about 5 tomatoes on her. Flowers everywhere. Like I said, I just sprayed everything with our fulvic acid extract. This bed here is total volunteers, everything in here. So you see the dark opal basil coming up. Dark opal basil coming up. That's a pepper, I don't know what it is, but it's gonna stay there. Another dark opal basil. Dark opal basil, along with a cluster of peppers there. Another cluster of peppers there. I'm just letting the garden basically do what it wants to do. This is some, I think these are these are mustards here. I want to say Mizuna mustards. How beautiful those leaves are. Again, spraying it up with that fulvic acid extract. She's going to seed, and I like to use the seeds. But she's going to seeds, but I want to see how long she can last before we start seeing any insects on her. So that's what she's here for. Something I wanted to show you guys also. If you purchased any of our blueberries from growingoutthebox.com, this is what your blueberries should be looking like, depending on when you order them, of course. We cut them back when we ship them. But this is one of my sweethearts here. And this is a remontant blueberry. It means it produces several times through the year. With the early blossoms that we had on it this year, she probably bloom again around October. All the leaves in the back here. That's one sweetheart, 2 sweetheart, and they're all loaded with blueberries. So I'm going to be showing more this year of how to grow the blueberries in pots. It's the same formula, my same mix. Look at this baby here. And this is a 2-year-old blueberry bush. 3-year-old, 2.5 I would say. But yeah, all those berries there. This is the one we repotted last year after we went to Europe, and she was left out here struggling. That's an O'Neill. This is a Chandler that was grown from seed. She still hasn't put on any in 3 years. That's another Chandler that was grown from seed, no berries in 3 years. Another Chandler, another Chandler. All 4 of those I grew from seed. I wanted to see how consistent they were. I would not advise anybody grow blueberries from seeds. This is their third year. This one has a few berries on it. This is the third year. This is the third year cutting. You see the difference in that? I just don't think it's worth it to grow from seed. All of these are 2.5-year-old cuttings from my sweetheart. These are 3-year-old grown from seed, and they're just now starting to produce. These are the first berries this has ever put out. Those put out the first year, and I removed them. This is the mother plant in a pot. This is a chandler here. So this is the mother to those from the seeds. So she's in a pot about 4 feet tall. A lot of berries on the chandler are some huge berries. And like I said, I'm going to focus more on the berries in the pots this year because more people are growing blueberries in pots. And I get a lot of questions about the blueberries in pots. Oh wow, she's already putting on some color. Okay, that's the first ripening of the season there. And that is, what is that? That's a Biloxi. That's a Biloxi blueberry here. So she's already putting on. And if you see here, these are those same little cinder block mesh that we get from Lowe's or Home Depot, cinder block or concrete mesh. We're gonna need these because we're gonna cover up these with our netting. I'll let you see that. We're gonna cover these up with our netting once the birds start coming in because again, that's the first ripening one of the season. Now, I got these two from Hall's Nursery. You guys were with me when I purchased these. Now, I'm gonna see if anybody in the chat knows the difference. Now, these two blueberry bushes here are supposed to be identical. This is supposed to be a Georgia gem, which is a southern high bush. And this is supposed to be a Georgia gem, which is a southern high bush. Now, I'm gonna see who knows the answer to this. Why is this not a Georgia gem and a southern high bush? I want you to take a good look at it. If you've been watching the videos, you might know this. Why is this the wrong plant? It was labeled a Georgia gem, and that's what I purchased it as. I purchased 2 Georgia gems. This is a Georgia gem. You see how the clusters are? They're round together. You see how the basal plate is, how the plant's starting to move from the roots. That's called the basal plate. But you see this little woody, like papery bark on here. That is, I'm not even going to answer that. I'm going to see if anybody else knows the answer to that. Look at how the berries go down the branch. You see how those berries are going down the branch? Now, if you've been watching the videos, you're going to have an idea of what this is, or better yet, what it is not. And it is not a southern high bush. This is southern high bush. You can look at the leaf patterns and the color. See how light those leaves are? This is a little darker. But I'm gonna come to the chat and then we're gonna see who knows the answer to that. Might even send you a blueberry bush if you get it right. This is a Northland. This is one of my cuttings from my big Northland that puts off about 15 to 20 pounds a year. What is this? That's the Biloxi. This is a Biloxi here. She's an early bloomer. That's a Biloxi. 150 to 250 chill hours. So if you're one of the hotter climates, the Biloxi is a good one for you. This is a Legacy. The Legacy is a hybrid northern southern high bush. I like the Legacy because she comes out of dormancy a little later than the southern high bushes like the Biloxi. So she has a better chance of withstanding these up and down winters that we have here in Georgia. Now this is a Brightwell. This is the universal pollinator for all your rabbit eyes. You see how thick she is? This is a Brightwell. If you have a rabbit eye and you're looking for a companion, you want the bright whale. The bright whale is a prolific producer, as you can see. This bush is this is 2.5, almost 3 years old from cuttings. This is a sharp blue. She has mid-sized berries. The sharp blue has a more spreading profile. She'll get tall, but she'll get wide, a little thicker than all the other bushes. So if you get sharp blue, look at that. There we go, another one. That color's starting to come in now. Oh yeah. So, but like I said, we're gonna be doing a lot more conversation, a lot more videos. Let's see here. We're gonna be doing a lot more videos this year about our blueberries in the pots. That's what I get mostly asked about. I'm gonna be in Douglasville, May 14th, 6:30 to 8 o'clock at the Master Gardeners meeting. I want to thank Adrian Johnson for inviting me out again. This will be my second time going to the Master Gardeners thing and doing a speech. We're going to be doing on blueberries. Matter of fact, blueberries in pots and companion planting. So that's what we're going to be talking about. I'm going to bring out some plants, maybe do a giveaway. So if you're in the mid-Georgia area, Douglasville, Douglas County, come out and hang out with us May 14th, Douglasville. So I'm gonna get down here to the chat and see what we're talking about over here. Let's see here. Dee Dee in the heat, would you give the details on how you built the grape trellis? Dee Dee in the heat, which grape trellis are you talking about? Are you talking about the Chase Lounge, or are you talking about actual Grapevine trellis? I was actually filming today, so it's not finished, but I'll kind of give you a little close-up of it. This is like the game changer for me. This changed the whole game up. I really got excited when I saw how those fit on there. They were, I think, $35 or $40 on Amazon for the set. So $60, I believe, for 4 of these. This changed the game right here. Made it so much easier to put up. I do all of this stuff by myself, so it was real easy. And when I show the video, you're gonna really see how I did one post. I set the post, put this on it, and then I allowed this to hold the other post up while I set the other post. You can see the dirt down here still fresh where I dug the hole. I even had to go and buy me a post hole digger from Harbor Freight, because this clay back here, this Georgia clay, ain't no joke. See that right there? Anybody ask me why I grow in raised beds? That's why I grow in a raised bed. That's what's up under this stuff. When that gets wet, matter of fact, let me show you. See that right there? That's what's down there. That's what my soil looks like. That's the plugs that came out of there when I went down into that to put those posts in. That's one of the plugs. That's one of the plugs there. It's a rock. It's that Georgia clay, baby. So, anybody ask me, again, I'm gonna show, this one here. I think they have grapes coming on them too. I'm gonna remove the grapes. I know the Concord has grapes on it. And see, she's putting her tendrils out, so it's time for her to start climbing. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wrap some wire around this, just a oval spool or a wire around it, so this can grab a hold to it. Basically, we're gonna let this climb up the trellis. When it gets to the top, we're gonna split one going right, one going left, and then we wanna have one going north, one going south. on that end, one going north, one going south. So we'll have four things coming off of our grapevines here, with all of the grapevines here. I like how this thing was coming out. Like I said, this is a Mars grapevine. She's got clusters coming in on them already. We're gonna remove those clusters though. And I'll probably have you guys, and you'll see she's still pushing out. This weather has been so crazy to where they don't even have time to really focus on putting the energy out, because it's cool at night and mid 80s during the daytime. So it's really throwing the plants off. Again, she's got those tendrils. You want those tendrils to lock on to something. And as soon as those tendrils lock on, she'll start climbing. But until then, they'll get lazy. And then you got right here with all of them laying down like this here. If you're trying to grow grapes and you're wondering why they're not climbing, you're gonna have what they call apical dominance. Because this one is the highest in here, it's controlling the height of all the other branches. So if I want the rest of those to take off, I'd have to cut that out. That takes away the apical dominance. This is the leader. Until she's gone, the other ones are gonna stay growing real slow. So as I choose my leader, and I'm thinking this one will probably be my leader, and I'll let that go up the trellis, grow up the pole. So that's what we're doing there. But I did a whole video from start to finish, even from digging the hole. You'll see, matter of fact, I have a video on here already with me actually planting the grapevines last year, because I put them in maybe summer of last year. Put all three of those in the summer, and those are washing, what it is, dryer drums. If you ever seen my video where I do the dryer drums, those are dryer drums. And I put the edging around it. I just cut it in 3 parts. This is a dryer drum. The tumbler in your dryer, that's what this is. That's a 23-inch spread. So I thought those were perfect. So that was 3 parts. All 3 of those are from one dryer drum. Repurposing. So a lot of times you guys think I'm spending a lot of money over here, and I'm really not. Even these posts right here, I got the fittings from Lowe's, but I went up to the salvage yard and got these posts, fence posts, and just painted them. That's all. And then I got these from Lowe's. And what I'm gonna do is hang flowers, or potentially I could hang a flower planter from each one of those, depending on what I want to earn. It'll probably be like some herbs or something, with a very aromatic herb to help keep the insects away from the grapes. So a lot of this stuff is just, like I said, we just improvise a lot. But I'm really loving the whole grapevine thing. You can see how it looks as a whole. Again, we're gonna do some pole beans on the end. I'm gonna have a floating cattle panel here. So there'll be like a rectangle wood shape here with the cattle panel inside of it. And I have chains hanging from it going from each corner. So that'll be a floating panel in the middle of that. And I don't know, should it be black or should I stain it the same color? Let me know. I mean, I just come out here, man, and I just free fall with this stuff. So we're gonna sit down here and just chat a little bit. All right. Let's sit this thing down. We're gonna chat a little bit. Yes, sir. So, get my little thing straight. back a little bit. So let's see here. Beautiful Chase Lounge. O.C. Neal, thank you. Cassandra Brown, hey Cassandra Brown, thanks for coming in. Miss Maureen, hello. Would you give the details on how you built the trellis? Yeah, the video is coming for the trellis build. Like I said, I'm not finished with it, but today I was working on it. I got the cattle panels up, the post, so now I gotta wrap it with the metal mesh so that the tendrils can lock on to it. So it's still a lot more work to be done. When it gets finished, I'm gonna be really happy with how that turned out. And I was gonna give you guys a peek of the squash cage, but I gotta put the dirt in the squash cage, but it's already set up. I got another cage in the back, so I'm growing my squash in a cage this year. I'll give you a little sneak peek at it before this night comes in. Let's see. Hello, I'm new to gardening. I have 2 tomato plants with marigolds in the pot. Can I plant more? Well, it depends on what size. That's it's Nina 0077 asked that question. It depends on the size of your pot. What I generally say is for a tomato, I would give no less than 18 inches for every tomato, and that's from stalk to stalk or from root, root mass to root mass. Tomatoes are heavy feeders, so if you put too many in a closed-in area, they are going to compete with each other. Let me see here. Try to bring this thing down to where I'm looking at you guys. All right, let's see here. Maybe this is better. Yeah, I think that's better. Yeah, is that better? I think that is. G Mama says marigolds and hessops can support the grapevines too. Yeah, I love the idea of the marigolds. Them berries look good. That's Miss Maureen. Uh, very clever strawberry trellis. That's Patricia 8933. Thank you. Carolina October 9747. Just jumping in. Those strawberries are fabulous. Yeah, the crazy part about the strawberries, the birds were taking them, I mean, as soon as they were ripening. And like I said, with this weather right now, they're just starting to come in, but I was really happy with what they were doing. And I come out and there were like 5 strawberries on it that night, and the next morning they were gone. I mean, they were just chopped all into. So I went in and I made this quick little video right around the Chase Lounge, and somebody said, you ever tried to doing the rocks, painting the rocks red? And I was like, I'm not finna paint any rocks red. But the simple solution was I just went to Amazon and bought me a bag of fake strawberries. And just doing a little research on the whole thing about using the fake strawberries, the key to it is, and at least from the first week that I've had them out here, which I've had no real strawberries taken since I put the fake strawberries out here, they say the whole concept behind it is moving the strawberries in bunches. You want to make them very accessible for the birds to see, and basically all you're doing is training the birds to the color red. Because what happens is as the fruit starts to ripen, they see the color red, they automatically go and investigate it, and when they find out it's food, they associate red with food. So if we are training them to see that the plastic or whatever that other substrate is, that is what they remember. And as we call them bird brains, they're a lot smarter than we give them credit for. So that's what happens to them. With the blackberries, my bush puts off so many blackberries. This is the bush that I give away. You know, people always tell me, well, why do you cover your blueberries up? I cover my blueberries up because the blueberries are mine. I do not share my blueberries with the birds. The blackberries, they have total access to, and that's probably why I got blackberries floating all around the garden. I have blackberries popping up everywhere. And even with this bed here where I have them in, it's tracked, I think I got it 6 inches into the soil, but you can't stop those blackberries. When they start wanting to travel, they're gonna travel. I got blackberries in beds 3 beds over. So that's something that you want to take into consideration if you want to grow blackberries. Let's see here. Going out the box. Check out my blueberry merch. Thank you, G-Mom, for posting that. You can paint the rocks red. Yeah, Mike, I ain't got time to be painting rocks. Man, my days be so busy. The store, and I want to thank you guys too, man, because none of this is possible without you guys. And you're always going to hear me say that. None of this is possible with you guys. Growingoutthebox.com. And the store is kind of, I'm not going to say down right now, but we're in limbo because we're making some changes. So some of the stuff, if you're trying to check out, it's going to tell you the calculations are off on it. So we're trying to figure out some bugs. We did an upgrade on the website. We got blueberries on the website now. We have 20 different varieties of blueberries. Everything that I have here, I have on the site. What don't I have? I don't have the Hello Darlings on my site, but everything else we have: the pink lemonade, the sweetheart, the legacy. Misty is sold out. Misty sold out a couple of weeks ago. What else do we have? Sunshine Blue, Climax. We have all of those available on growingoutthebox.com. All blueberries. We also have citrus now, and if you look at the master list on the citrus, I haven't got around to listing everything because, like I said, the site has been jumping. So getting product out the door, making sure that you guys are satisfied with your purchase, that's my main goal. So I didn't want to overwhelm myself by putting too much up at one time, but there's a master list for the citrus, which I want to say it has maybe 30 citrus trees on it. You can look on that master list and email me at inquiry@growingoutthebox.com. And if you ask me about that particular plant that's on the list that I don't have listed for sale, I'll go ahead and personally send that to you. So they are available. I just haven't created the listings for it yet. Plum trees, apricots, cherry trees. We are expanding and we are growing every day, and none of this is possible without you guys. So I know you guys haven't been seeing me in the chats. Usually I'm in Miss Linda's chat, Broke's chat. Broke Farmer is in the chat right now. Usually I'm in their chat, but my days have been totally tied up into just trying to keep the demand of the store afloat. And then we have our 3 zippers. Our 3 zippers are in transit. So we got 300 this time. Last time we had 100, they sold out in 2 weeks. We got 300 of the 3 zipper blueberry bush planters, and they are 71 by 84. So they'll cover a 6-foot bush. Most of our, the rabbit eyes are going to get up into that 6-foot area. So these will cover up to 6.5 feet. Matter of fact, it'll go up to 8 feet. But I'm just saying comfortable with the 6 foot. And they're 71 inches wide, 84 inches tall with 3 zippers on it. Got the round top. I am the only one with 3 zippers, and there is a patent on it. So anybody tell you that they have the 3 zippers, unless they got it from me, they don't have it. Unless they got it from me, they don't have it. There is a patent on that 3 zipper whole thing. The way that it is, it's not the normal one that I have. I have the 1 zipper that's available. I have plenty of those. And I also have these teepee tents that I'm going to be showing you. I'm not going to show you it now, because I'm growing squash under these teepee tents, and they have 2 zippers on those, and they're 6 feet tall. So imagine a teepee being 6 feet tall, and I want to say they're 50, no, 60 inches wide. So it's a teepee tent, and I have a raised bed that they're going with that. So we're going to have the matching set, the raised bed along with the teepee tent coming to growingoutthebox.com. So let me get into the chat here. On a crafty grandma, that's a great idea. Can you train squirrels too? Mike's Chaotic Gardener might be able to tell you about training squirrels. Might be setting those squirrels off, man. It works. G Mama Mike, I have painted strawberry rocks. Need touch-ups. That's G Mama saying that. Love the berry growing covers. Broke Farmer. Got an apricot tree in my cart from your website. All right, Broke. You say you got that apricot tree in your cart. You know what? The checkout link may not be working right now. Hopefully, we're gonna have everything back up and running by Monday. That is the goal, to have everything up and running by Monday. I'm going to be in Florida this weekend, and so not able to work on a whole lot this weekend, but when we get back on Monday, hopefully we'll have everything back up and running. There was a shift that we moved over to another server so we can handle more of the demand. Then we started this thing to where the postal service that we were shipping through, our U.S. Postal Service, because now we have so much volume going through, we had to sign up for a corporate account, so we can no longer use our little I guess our random account that we were using. So they hit us with a corporate fee, and we had to go in and register and do all of that stuff there. But that's all in the name of growing, you know what I mean? I was a little frustrated at first because it just kind of cut off everything at one time, but then we had to go in and upgrade everything and get situated with the business side of things. And but it's a part of growing. That's what growing out the box is over here. Grandmama crafty grandmama, to not eat your garden, LOL. Let me get down to the bottom, see what's going on here. Growing pains well worth it. Simply complex. Yeah. Growing what I eat. What's up, my brother? I see you just popped. I don't know if you just popped in, but I see you. Now, thank you for sharing the link to the. I hope to see you down there at the Douglasville Master Gardener meeting, Growing What I Eat. I appreciate you sharing the link, my brother. Mike's Gardener. Yes, just to start. Let's see here. I'm gonna go up and go backwards and read some of the. Do you sell 6-foot blueberry plants? If yes, I'll buy. No, I do not sell 6-foot blueberry plants. Do I sell 6-foot blueberry plants? No, absolutely not. All of the blueberry plants are going to be the size of the ones that I have in the pots. That's the reason why I was growing those in the pots this year. I want to be able to grow along with you guys. And what is my guy's name? I'm trying to think of the guy who did the video where he shouted me out for doing the blueberry bush mix. I can't think of his name right now. Homestead. I can't remember his name right now. Anyway, he showed you guys how to mix my blueberry mix, which is 50% peat moss, 25% mini pine bark nuggets, and 25% compost. But what he did was, and it was all in good spirit, and I really appreciate him because he did an excellent job. And I was watching the video, and I was so focused in on how he was putting it together. He actually did a great job in putting the video together. And then someone messaged me and said, let me think of the name of this channel. I can't think of the name of the channel right now, but somebody messaged me and say they watched him put the video together, and they said, didn't you tell me that using what is it, mushroom compost was not good for blueberries. And I said, yeah, I did say that. She said, well, Daniel, that's his name, Daniel. I can't call his channel's name, I'm sorry. But he was using mushroom compost, and I went back and looked at the video, and he had the mix right. He had the 50% peat, the 25% mini pine bark nuggets, and he had the 25% compost, but he had 25% mushroom compost. That's a no-no. And I apologize for anybody that I did not clarify that on. Do not use mushroom compost on your blueberries. Mushroom compost, in my opinion, shouldn't even be called compost because it's pasteurized. And two things that you want to know about using mushroom compost. Mushroom compost should be used as an additive, not as a growing medium. I'm going to say this again. Mushroom compost should not be used as a growing medium. It should only be used as an additive. The same way that you would use, let's say, bone meal, the percentage that you would put bone meal in, or the same way that you would use blood meal, the same percentage that you would put blood meal in. Mushroom compost is extremely good for your brassicas. They love that higher pH. They love the salts. They love the saprophytic fungi that's in the mushroom compost. Everything about mushroom compost, blueberry bushes hate. Blueberry bushes hate salt. Blueberry bushes hate high pH. And blueberry bushes do not take well to saprophytic fungi. They like ericoid mycorrhiza fungi. So there's a big difference. And again, I say the nuance of it is I really don't even like to call mushroom compost because it's pasteurized. It's not compost. And what they do is when they pasteurize it, they basically kill off all the bacteria and all of the competing fungi so that it produces mushrooms only. And that's produced by saprophytic fungi. So if you are doing your blueberry bushes and you've used mushroom compost and you're wondering why you're getting chlorosis of the veins, the yellowing of the leaves, if you look back at when you planted your blueberry bush and if you do a pH test on it, the mushroom compost does the exact opposite of what it is that I do with my mix. My mix is set to buffer at a minimum pH of 4.5 to 5.7. You can water it with alkaline water and it's still going to be acidic. That's because that pH in there is going to be buffered with the peat moss. The amount of peat moss in there is going to outcompete any type of alkaline substrates that you add to that. That is why you can water with your tap water, and no matter how much you water that garden with, no matter how much you water that blueberry bush with, it's still going to maintain that low pH. That's a buffering capacity. The cation exchange that happens, these mosquitoes are starting to come out. The cation exchange and that peat moss keeps that and holds, and then it adds that over into those pine bark nuggets, mini pine bark nuggets, not large pine bark nuggets. You have to have the mini pine bark nuggets. There's a reason for that. Large pine bark nuggets are going to take up more of your bacteria and they're going to be focusing on breaking down those large pine bark nuggets. You want the mini pine bark nuggets. Or if you have a large bag of pine bark nuggets, run them over with your lawnmower. But going back to my point, do not, and I'm going to say this again, do not use mushroom compost on anything that likes acidity. Do not. They just won't go together because the mushroom compost is the opposite of what that blueberry mix is. It's designed to buffer at a high pH. It is designed to do that. So even if you mix it with the peat moss, they're going to do a chemical reaction is going to happen, and that mushroom compost is going to win over that peat moss every time. It's just the way the biology is of that. Those two are going to marry together, and then it's going to create a chemical reaction, and that chemical reaction is going to cause the pH to rise. In the same way that your pH in your tap water is like a 7.4, but if you water your blueberry bush with that 7.4 tap water, and because that pH in the blueberry mix is buffered, it's going to have an adverse effect, and it's not going to change. It's going to buffer it, and it's going to stay down there in that range because the peat moss is going to outcompete your alkalinity of your tap water. Whereas with the mushroom compost, it's going to have the absolute backwards effect on that, and that mushroom compost is going to win. So Daniel and Salty Dog Homestead, that's what it was, Salty Dog Homestead. Let me get down here to the chat. Camera quality, yeah. Um, Simply Complex says the camera quality. She gave the thumbs up. Yes, I have a separate, uh, what do you call it, a router. I have a separate router for the garden. And my goal is to be able to do my lives out here in the garden. I hate being in the house, sitting in front of a computer with nothing has to do with the garden. I like being out here in the garden because for one, it helps me stay on topic. You know, I can look at some things, I can take you over to some things, I can show you some things, and we could talk about what's in the garden. Whereas when you're in the house and you're scripting, you kind of have to remember what it is you're doing, and I don't do that very well. I kind of get out here and I just go with whatever the flow is. If you guys ask me a question about something you see, that's what we're going to be talking about. So what we were calling this was Lights Out Live. Now, I got some lights that I can hang from here, but I like the ambience of this, and I probably go in and get the lights just depending on how well. You can see my neighbor has his little alarm going off when the deer go by, and let me see if you can hear that. Okay, it start barking. Had a little fake dog bark, and the lights go off. It is supposed to scare the deer, does not. But I appreciate that, saying that the quality of the video is good. And this thing will go up to five, I think it was 5 miles. The router will go up to 5 miles with the same clarity. I can go all around my garden and have the same clarity. It's just like if I were in the house. And that was what I think my best investment was, in having that router added out here into the garden, because I can do a pop-up at any time, be out here in the garden. I can move around, don't have the glitches, you know what I mean? No freezing. And actually, my outside router is stronger than my inside router. I can do the little, what do you call it, the Google test on it, where you test the strength of your router. And my outside router is 5 times more powerful than my inside router. So I can be able to do videos out here all day long. I just wish we had a little rain. Can we get a little rain? Because the grass is, that's usually my little thing when I walk out here. I like to come out here barefoot sometimes and just walk with the grass. And right now the grass is looking rough. And we've gone through April and there was no such thing as April showers. So let me see here. Simply Complex said, well worth it. I think it was. I spent a little money on it, and let me tell you, yeah, the whole reason why that happened was somebody said to me the quality of my video was trashy. That's what made me really say, okay, that ain't gonna happen again. Somebody said the quality of my video. I was doing a live out here in the garden, and I was just walking with my phone, and I thought it was pretty decent, but somebody commented and said the quality of your video is trashy. And I was like, that's not going to happen again. So I started doing my little homework and looking at different routers that are built for outside, like when you're doing hunting. Some of the hunting lodges have these things out there, and I landed on it, baby. This one is, I mean, it looks like a little Starlink. Has like 5 big, it's probably about, I'm looking at it now, maybe 24 inches wide, 24 inches tall, has star links all the way going. It looks like a star, but they're antennas going in every direction. I can hang it up on the top of the house, and the further up I hang it, the further out I can go. But right now it's just on a pole about 7 feet off the ground. I mean, it's really good. Let's see here. Growing what I eat. Appreciate that, my brother. Appreciate the super chat. Yeah, salty dog. That's right, growing what I eat. So you had to see that video too. I appreciate you, man. Yeah, salty dog. That's what it was. And I see Christopher Jones said the same thing. Salty dogs. What's up, growing out the box in chat? Them groceries. What's going on? Let's see, a salty dog homestead. Daniel. That's right. Everybody got salty dogs. You're absolutely correct. No fungi. Do the math. What's going on? Do the math. I didn't see you pop in here. Salty dog. Everybody's saying salty dog. Yeah, he did a, and I have to give him credit. He did an absolute amazing job at putting that thing together, and he gave me the credit. So I can't even be mad at him. I really like his channel. You know what I mean? I actually watch Salty Dog myself. The guy's just a real good-natured spirit, always laughing. Just makes you want to just relax and just take your foot off the gas. And he has sometimes videos go 30, 40, 50 minutes, sometimes an hour. But that's where everything is going right now on YouTube. If you're getting categorized in that television market, that's where you're going to win at. So that's what I'm trying to do now going forward into the new season. I'm trying to rank everything in with the television market. If you're looking at your analytics, and if broke, this is something that you're probably already up on, but if you're looking at your analytics, you want that TV market to be the one that ranks up top. TV, and then your mobile, and then your tablets, and then your phones, or whatever. But that TV market, that's the one that YouTube is pushing right now. So they want longer videos with just more content. So that's what we're trying to give them this year. I may go in and get my lights, because these are not going to be bright enough to light this whole area up, because I even got me some strobe lights now that I can work with outside to do my thing. Let's see here. Pasteurized. Do the math. Yeah, radiated. Do the math says radiated. You're right, because they basically heat it up, and it kills off all the bacteria and the fungi. And what they want to do is have that saprophytic fungi being dominant in the mix, and they don't want anything else in there, because that's what produces those mushrooms. Now again, it serves its purpose for what it's for, but not when you're doing blueberries. And I'm gonna say this again for anybody who's watching this: do not, and I'm gonna put a exclamation point on that. Do not use mushroom compost in your blueberry bush. It will kill your blueberry bush. Literally kill your blueberry bush. It'll be a slow death. And when I do the Master Gardeners thing in Douglasville on the 17th, is it 17th? The 14th, I'm sorry. When I do the Master Gardeners thing on the 14th, I'm going to bring my pH meter, and I'm going to do an example of just putting the same water, same tap water, into some regular compost, and then putting the same tap water into some mushroom compost, and I'm going to show the readings of that. And it's a big difference, where your regular compost is going to be neutral, probably somewhere from a 6.2 to a 6.7, somewhere up in there. But that mushroom compost is going to be anywhere from a 6.5 to an 8.5. So that's a big range. And when you start talking about your pH range, that's exponentially. So you're talking about 10 times for every point. So if it's, let's say your pH is supposed to be a 5 and you are at a 6 or a 7, that's 10 times every time you move a point. So that's 100 times more acidic, or 100 times more alkaline. It's just not one point. So when you're looking at, like I said, if you want a 5.5 on your blueberry bush, but your pH is a 6.5, that's actually 100 times more alkaline. 100 times more alkaline, not 1 times more alkaline. So everything is exponential. So if you're doing 10 times 1, and that's going to be 1 point up. If you're doing 100 times 1, that's 2 points up. So every time you go up, you multiplying that by 10. So if you're 2 points off, that's 100 times off, 100% off. So you have to be real careful with reading the pH. That's why I really promote having a pH meter in the garden. Let me get back down here to the chat. The experience with Sassy, what's going on? She said, hey, growing out the box and chat, driving and listening. Thank you for dropping in on us. We're just doing a little pop-up here. I was showing off my little grapevine trellis in the back. Feeling really good about it. It's just me doing all of this. I'm trying to run the store, trying to record videos, trying to grow some food out here in the garden. And it really wears me out at times, but I'm trying to make time for the lives again. The season is going. It's a really beautiful night here. We're going to be heading out to Florida tomorrow, so might do a pop-up down there. Got a gardener friend down there. We're going to stop by and check them out. Might show you some of their garden when we're down there. We're going to be in Tampa area, so hit me up. If you see me down there, we might be able to link up or something. Going to be down in the Tampa, St. Pete area. Broke farmer. Let's see here. G Mama Grows Simple Complex. Emojis on the side help support the channel. That's right. Broke is speaking to Sassy. Anti-articles, tap water 7.4 pH, not in the major metropolitan cities. So, what is this? Anti-chronicles. I don't know what that is. Something chronicles. She says 7.4. Yeah, 7.4 is what my tap water is on average. You know, depending on the temperature, your pH will rise and drop based on the temperature. I'm in North Carolina. We need rain badly, and that's Denise Joe. Yeah, Denise Joe 10462 says we need rain bad. We're going through the same thing right here in Georgia. It's rough down here. Patricia 9833 says amen. Let's see here. Brighton Harris, rain is coming Saturday. You know what? The last time that they said we were going to have rain, it drizzled for about an hour, and they said 100%. That was the rain that we got. So I'm not banking on this, because in my forecast is looking at 70% on Saturday, and it's only for 3 hours, and then the rest of the day. So that's a hit or miss for me, and we're going through it right now with this dry weather. We need rain like never seen it this early. That's right, growing what I eat. April, I think we've had 2 good days of rain in April, and thus far we're going towards the end of May. No, we're going towards the end of April. Maybe 2 days. What happened to the April showers? Cindy McCrew says she likes Salty Dog too. Yeah, Salty Dog. If you guys haven't checked out Salty Dog, go over and check my guy out, man. He has one of the best spirits. I mean, he just laughs by himself out there in the garden, and I tell him all the time, man, just keep doing what you're doing, because what you're doing is infectious. You know what I mean? With everything that's going on out here in the world, sometimes we just need to take our foot off the gas, man, and just relax. And going over and watching somebody like Salty Dog, man, you can really just take your foot off the gas and just enjoy. So what is the Tanzanator? The Tanzanator, I think it's called Q codes. I'm not sure what he's talking about there. Tammy, shalom, brother. Good to see you. Hey, Tammy, thank you for coming in. I'll send you some of our, because Tammy says she's gonna send us some of her rain because it's been raining everywhere. Well, we need some of that rain. You could box it up and send it to me. Al Swede says the national service weather was defunded. They turned off the water. That's probably what happened. Let's see here. Yes, GC Georgia, supposed to rain tomorrow. I, when I see it, when I see it, most plants uptake nutrients around 6.0. That's why I encourage folks to invest in a pH meter. That's growing. G Mama Grows. You are absolutely correct, G Mama Grows. I think the pH meter, when I was saying this, when I first started bringing out my pH meter, you know, everybody was on that. Growing out the box, you be doing too much. But that pH meter was the single most best investment that I have had in my garden. If you want to start talking about making your FPJs, that's fermented plant juices, you have to have a pH meter. If you want to start talking about it, and I was talking to Miss Linda, the New Orleans gardener about this also, super juice. You can make super juice without the funk. Imagine that. If you have a pH meter, you can do this. I have done it and I've been doing it. When everybody kept saying that their super juice stinks and smells like rotten sewage or whatever, let me explain something to you. If your super juice smelled like sewage, you're probably harboring E. coli, salmonella. Those are the potentials of what can happen when your super juice smells like that. So that's one of the reasons why you don't really hear me talking about the super juice a whole lot. But what I have done using that pH meter, there's a way that you can take that and bring the pH down in that super juice, and that's where you're gonna have your what they call the purple sulfur bacteria, non-purple sulfur bacteria, which is a bacteria that can grow in both uh, anaerobic and aerobic soils and in anaerobic and aerobic conditions. Non-purple, let me see if I can say this right. Non-purple, see now I done got a brain fart here. But it's a non-purple bacteria, non-purple bacteria, non-purple serpent. Man, if I can jack this up real quick, and I just said it, non-purple sulfur, non-purple sulfur bacteria. You guys look that up. Non-purple sulfur bacteria. That bacteria can live in both anaerobic and aerobic conditions. You want that in your super juice. What that does is it's going to bring that pH down of your super juice, and it's going to make that smell go away. You won't have that stinky smell that you have with super juice. You're going to have like a calm yeast that'll settle on the top, and that's white. That's a good thing. That's just your natural fungus or natural yeast that's in the air that's colonizing the top, and it basically keeps that smell in. But if you start seeing any purple or black inside of your super juice, that is terrible. That's mold, and it's not good to put on your garden. Now, we have been doing it, and it works. And the reason why it works is because when you take that really stinky super juice and you dip it out of the container that it's in, that it introduces oxygen to it, and those bacteria die. And when they die, you pour that into your garden soil where it's aerated. Those good bacteria, or the aerobic bacteria, I'm not going to say good and bad bacteria because you have good anaerobic bacteria as well. But those good bacteria eat those bad bacteria that just died because you removed them from that anaerobic conditions, and now the good bacteria, the aerobic bacteria, eat those, and that is how that's converted. So that's the reason why that smell will last for a little while and then it'll go away, because it's converting those anaerobic bacteria, the anaerobic bad bacteria, into good bacteria because the good bacteria are eating them. That's the reason why that works. So, just got a bokashi bean. Okay. Darth X said he's got a bokashi bean. That's what's up. Kelp emotion. Kelp emotion doesn't stink. No, kelp emotion doesn't stink. But again, without a pH meter, I'm gonna tell you guys to hold on for a second. I'm gonna go in and get my lights. If you guys want to hold on for a second, I'm gonna go in and get my lights. So y'all chat amongst yourselves, and I'm gonna come right back. Here we go. We're gonna be ready this year. Let's see where I can put this light here. And then we'll put the other light. Oh, it's too bright. Let's see if I can move it back here. Let's see how this works out. Might have to play with them a little bit. All right, let's see here. Y'all see my little lanterns popping up now. So hopefully we'll keep this. Let me. Y'all tell me what this light looks like. Y'all let me know what the lighting looks like. I can adjust it. Just keep knocking. All right. Y'all let me know what the lighting looks like, or if we need to make some adjustments, because I can. Mike says looks good. I love the little lights in the back. You guys see that? The little twinkles. And I don't know what this. Oh, okay. That's my little my radish pods. Let me show you guys something. I'll always hear me talking about radish pods. Don't remove your radish when it starts to bolt. Show you the inside. This is, you can pickle these. They're all over me. I eat these while I'm out in the garden. This kind of replaces my snap peas. I'm not even trying to grow snap peas anymore because the weather down here is so crazy. This is what we have here. See that there? That's a daikon radish pod. Got a little bite to it too. Mm-hmm. Tell me my battery don't run out on this one. Yep. So that's why you're supposed to charge it before you come out. One of them I was using. Let me see if I can move this. Oh, that's too bright. What's up, Miss Linda has entered the building. I was just talking about you. How much? What you been in the bushes? What's going on, y'all? Give a warm welcome for Tina, the New Orleans gardener, Miss Linda. What's going on, Miss Linda? I'm just doing a little pop-up. I was showing you guys my grapevine trellis. You see, I got my little twinkle lights in the back. I got my other light in there too, but I'm not even gonna worry about that tonight. When this one goes out, we'll go out. Let me see if I can move it a different way. Tell me what the lighting looks like to you guys. Look at what you said. Oh, we were just talking about the super juice. That's all. I'm just north of. Mike said the light looks good. My other light, I should have charged it up. It didn't last 2 minutes. But it's all good. Just move it out the way. But these are like the little lights that I have now. I can prop these up behind me, in front of me. Got 4 of them. So I think I'm just kind of playing around with the different ambiances. T-Nog said, all right, bae. Nice and clean. Okay. Yeah. So again, like I said, man, I'm loving these little Tinkerbell lights. My little candles right there. I like that. Let me see if I can change camera position, what it'll do if I jack up something now. Is that better in the center? Mike say stop messing with things. Man, you know, growing out the box be doing too much. I'll just, I think I might put it back. I kind of like those little Tinkerbell lights in the corner there. So you might be right, Mike. I'm gonna leave things alone. Yeah, I kind of like that. I'm gonna leave that alone. Get my little Tinkerbell lights up top. How's that? It's good. Now you're doing too much. G Mama. Hey, I should have, you know, I got my t-shirts now that got that doing too much on it. So, yeah. Okay, Mike say that's nice. Okay, yeah, that's nice. All right. Yeah. So that's what I'm trying to do. Like I said, you get a little bit of the little bush in the background, got the lights. It's the lights out live. This is what we were talking about, where we just kind of come out here and we chill, just talking, chicken and bobo, talking about nothing. Greetings from Texas. That's Miss May 9. What's going on, Miss May? John 5670 gave me the thumbs up or the okay sign. Growing what I eat, speaking. So that's all I want to do, man. Like I said, I'm not gonna burn you guys' time up tonight. I was just chopping in. If you got any questions, um, blueberries, like I said, we're gonna be growing the blueberries in the pots more this year. Actually, we're gonna be showing more of the blueberries in the pots. So if you guys have any questions on the blueberries, um, you know, anything else, Miss Red has entered the building. What's going on, Miss Red? She's speaking to Miss Linda, the New Orleans gardener. Dee Dee in the heat. My plan is to go on your website tonight and pick out some blueberry bushes for my Zone 9A uh, that I can grow in pots. Yeah, all of the blueberry bushes that we have, you can grow in pots. And this year, like I said, you all already know how I grow mine in the 48-inch planters, raised beds. The same mix that I use in my planters is the same mix that I use in the pots. So what I want to do is show you that it is possible to do the same thing. And even with the winter that we had, 3 upswings where the temperatures were up and down, I did cover my blueberries, but the pots did just fine. Your blueberries are going to be well all the way down into negative zeros. Now, if you have blossoms at the time that the frost happens, then you're going to definitely have to cover your blueberries, and you may lose some of them. But what I didn't do this year, I didn't prune any of my bushes because of that late frost that we had, because I'm looking at some of the frost damage on some of the berries may compensate for not pruning. So we're gonna see how that goes, and I'll be showing you guys how that goes on that experiment. Neighbors, we appreciate you joining the live. Thank you, Mike. Um, bow out the door. I planted Stark Starburst Donut Peach Bare Root a month ago. No leaves yet. Any ideas what's wrong? Starkston Donut Peach Bare Root. What kind of plant is that? Like, is it a peach tree? I don't know what that is. So that's a new one to me. Um, John 5670 says, you've inspired me to start growing my own food. I really appreciate that, man. And that's really what this whole journey is about, man. Just being able to inspire. I don't consider myself a teacher. I simply just share what it is that I do in my garden, and if you can benefit from it, that's my blessing being received. Um, I don't know, man. It's just I just put my hands on things and I make it work. What I'm trying to do now is learn how to explain what it is that I'm doing, and I'm bringing you guys along on that journey. And that's all this is right now. It's like you're participating in my growth, and by me participating in my own growth, I'm sharing that with you guys, and hopefully you can, you know, benefit from that as well. And it's been just amazing. This has been amazing. I've been rocking with Miss Linda, the New Orleans gardener. If you guys have not been on Miss Linda's chat, Miss Linda's live, Tuesdays, 7 p.m., what is it, Central, Sundays, 7 p.m. Central. Um, Always something very informative. Also, my guy Broke Farmer, I think he's still in here. He does his lives on Sundays, I think around 3 o'clock, but don't quote me on that. I've been out of the loop for a minute with the lives, but it's so busy on this end. Finally got a chance to get out here in the garden to get some of the grapevine stuff done today. Really happy with the way that trellis has gone. And if you guys just hang in there with me, man, because we're finna do this thing here really nice. Antique Chronicles says, I bought some peat moss at Lowe's. I saw your recommendations after the purchase. Should I switch to your recommendation? Uh, the peat moss at Lowe's is fine. Yeah, you're talking about the peat moss that I had at Tractor Supply, but the peat moss at Lowe's is fine. I've been using that for forever. The thing was, I was up at Tractor Supply, and Tractor Supply had the black gold, and that's my preference, is the black gold. So I bought probably more than what I should have bought. But I have all these blueberry bushes around here that I want to put in the ground. But again, this year I'm going to do more videos of them growing in pots because it seems to be more people are growing in pots. So I want to be able to share that part. I have enough videos of growing in ground with the planters. So if you guys want to go back and see any of those, I got a whole bunch of those videos. But what I don't have is a lot of videos on growing in pots. And the one thing, like I was saying with Daniel, Salty Dog Homestead, when he showed that video, and then I went back after somebody messaged me and said that I told them not to use the mushroom compost. I went back and then he had it written on the side of his planter. I didn't even pay attention to that. And I actually gave him the thumbs up and was like, hey man, you did an excellent job on the video. And then I went back, I had to contact him and I said, hey man, that's my bad because I didn't say not to use the mushroom compost for your blueberries. I said use compost, but not mushroom compost. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to make another video when I start doing my pots on the blueberries, and I'm going to make sure that I put emphasis on not using mushroom compost in your blueberry bushes. Again, I don't even know why they call it compost. Auntie says, my entire garden is in pots. I grow everything I can imagine. You know, that's the whole benefit of it. There's no such thing as what you can't do. And I'm a big fan of anybody trying to do something that hadn't been done before. So, you know, what we need to do is grow as much as we can, however we can grow it. Lascious Journey. What's going up, Farmer Lascious? Going on, my girl. Glad you came in. Yeah, we just sitting up here chopping it up. I'm sitting out here in the garden just enjoying the little night light. You know, we call it Lights Out Live is what my lives are called. Um, let's see. Any tips on growing onions from bulbs? I really don't do bulb onions. I have what they call hashiko onions. Some people call them walking onions. Um, I haven't bought onions in probably 3, 4 years because my hashiko onions grow back every year, and then I take them and I split them up, and we just use the onions from there. I'm not into the bulbs like that. So, Miss Busybody, everybody say good evening, everybody. Growing out the box in chat. Thank you for coming in, Miss Busybody. Um, Mike's Chaotic Garden say, I love my Egyptian walking onions. Yeah, the Hashiko onions, the Egyptian walking, some people call them, you know, you can call them whatever you want. I'm just not into the bulbs like that because it's a growing process that you have to put labor into. Whereas, like you say, the Egyptian walking onions, you plant them one time, they're perennials. They come back every year if you do have a frost or whatever. Mine grows 24/7, 365. There's no purpose for bulb onions for me, so I wouldn't be the one to ask about growing bulb onions. Um, Jackie X12XX says I planted white and yellow onions. Yes, Miss Linda be able to tell you about those onions now. Um, G Mama Groves says she calls her tree onions. Yeah, I call them tree onions too. Those things get huge. I think I have some over here probably close to 4 feet tall. And this time of the year when they start blooming, they put on this like a little pom pom. Let me see if I can see one around here somewhere. But they put off this beautiful pom pom, and the bees just go crazy on it. So that's one of the reasons why I also like the Hashiko onions. That's the same thing as the walking onions, or as Miss as G Mama calls them, pom pom or tree onions. They just keep growing, and you just don't have to worry about it. What I try to do is put things in the garden one time. I'm not into this whole, I want to do 1,000 uh, different tomato plants and 1,000 peppers and all that. I let my peppers self seed. What comes up at the end of the year or at the beginning of the year, I'll take those, split them up, put them in different, and they're your volunteers are going to be your best peppers, going to be sorry, your best tomatoes, your best peppers. That's my still in my throat there, still catching that. But yeah, I try to plant what grows in my grow zone. That's one thing you'll see me doing. I don't have a whole lot of stuff that I take in during the winter because I have not enough time in the day to be taking things in and bringing them out, taking them in, bringing them out. That's too much like work. And I want the garden to be productive. I want the garden to be able to support itself. So I do have some lemon. I have the Ponderosa lemon, which I do take in, and I did this year. I have the Eureka lemon, and all of those are on growingoutthebox.com now. If you want to get the Eureka lemon, the Ponderosa lemon, they're on growingoutthebox.com. Um, what else do I have? I have the Miwa Kumquat. I had to take that in. But I also have the Brown Select Satsuma. That's in the ground. I have just got the, what's the other one? The Arctic Frost, which is a Satsuma. That's going in the ground, but I think I'm going to keep it in a pot for maybe another year, and then I'll put it in the ground maybe next year, possibly. But I want to be able to grow everything in ground, let it take its own cycle. I have my Poncirus trifoliate that I'm grafting onto. So it's a whole lot going on right now, man, and I'm just trying to keep it simple. Yes, phosphorus and loose soil. I don't know what Mike's talking about. Any bulb vegetarians remember add phosphorus. This is for your onions also. What I found is the arbuscular fungi works really good when I do my onions. So I'm really big on the funguses and using those to help spread those roots out, which are able to tap down into the soil and pull up nutrients as well as keep moisture going. So that's one of the things that I use on my elephant garlic. I put that arbuscular fungi into the soil and along with that phosphorus because the arbuscular fungi is what mines the phosphorus from the soil. So once you have that established in your soil, it'll go down and mine that stuff. And then I have also my Comfrey, which is over here, Bakken 14 Comfrey, and it's very good with phosphorus and potassium. Um, what is the other one that I have? That's the Mexican sunflower is another one that's good with potassium and phosphorus. Um, my alfalfa is more potassium and nitrogen, but it also has a compound in it called tricontinol. That tricontinol is the game changer. That's like if you put that in with your seedlings, makes everything grow well. And that is with the tricontinol. the rocks. Sticks and rocks struggle your carrots. Yeah, you want very loose soil with your carrots, as well as sweet potatoes, as well as your onions. Again, I don't really grow bulb onions. The bulb onions that I was growing, I let them go to seed, and now they became permanent fixtures in the garden. Um, you can actually grow your own personal onion that will develop into your own onion. If you allow your onions to go to seed, they won't come back like a regular onion. They'll come back similar to a green onion. So you'll have your own walking onion, so to speak, for your own garden bed. And I have several of those growing around the garden, and I just let them reseed every year. Again, I don't replant the onions because, like I say, I have plenty of them. Also, why I don't step in my garden compacts the soil. Absolutely correct, Mike. That is a pet peeve of mine. When I see somebody stepping in their garden, ooh man, it's like a cat scratching on a glass. I'd be like, oh no, don't do that. Man, we work so hard to keep that soil fluffed and aerated. When you step on it, you're defeating the whole purpose of allowing things like your earthworms and your roots to be able to free flow throughout your soil when you step on it. All my garden beds, I, I think I've had my garden now going on, this will be the 5th year, because I technically started in 2020, but 2021 is when I kind of said I really want to start doing that. Um, I don't recall ever stepping in one of my garden beds, ever. Matter of fact, even when my cat's out here and he even steps into the bed, I give him that, nope, we ain't doing that. So he knows not to step in the beds. People are asking, like, how do we keep your cat from using the bathroom in your garden beds? He knows. He knows very well. And I think we have a very intelligent cat, but yeah, he knows not to go into the garden beds. He'll walk around the edges of the beds, but he will not walk in the garden beds. He's been trained that way. So, awesome, Mike. The garden beds are too wide. Yeah, that's right, Miss Linda. I learned that in my first year. I did and my wife told me too before I even did it. But my smart self, I was like, no, I want to get as much as I can into this garden bed. I did a 8 by, I think we're 8 by 4 garden beds is what, if you go back to my original videos, you'll see my first garden beds were 8 by 4, and that didn't work out. So now I have a thumbprint of maybe a 8 by 36 that's comfortable where you can reach in on both sides. But if you have an 8 by 4, that's just not practical. Yeah. OCD-ish chick is in the building. What's going on? Thank you for coming in. See, the mods are packing up in here. Online Travel Boss says, thank you to you. We've got our second blueberry bush just starting out thanks to your videos. That's Online Travel Boss. Thank you. And again, Angela Calloway, what's going on? Thank you for coming in. Like I said, we have blueberries on growingoutthebox.com. We have 20 different varieties on growingoutthebox.com. So we're transitioning from one server over to another server. So some of the items you're not able to check out on. But if you're having an issue with checkout, just email me and I can send you a personal link to it while we're getting everything situated. But we've got the citrus going back up. We have our plum trees, our peach trees, cherry trees. What else do we have in there? I said the citrus, blueberries. But we're going to be a one-stop shop for everything that you need. The 3-zippers are on the way. I wanted to turn on the pre-orders, but I'm not going to do the pre-orders because everything's going crazy with this shipping craze that we're having right now. They're on the containers headed here. I ordered 300 of them this time. Last time I did 100, they sold out in 2 weeks. This time I did 300, and if the demand is there, I have enough time to do a pre-order and get those back in. It usually will take about 30 to 40 days to get them here, but we're expecting the 3-zipper blueberry bush netting any day now. So as soon as we get them, we're going to post them up. I'm hoping that the blueberry season isn't over by the time they get here with this crazy shipping that's going on. Let's see here. Chad Meyer said, "Hey man, I'm in Beaufort, Georgia. I'm younger, 33, but I've enjoyed watching and learning your videos. So far, I stumbled up on your videos." I appreciate that, Chad. I really do appreciate that. You're in Beaufort, Georgia. I'm going to be in, what is it, Douglasville on the 14th of May for the Master Gardeners meeting. I'm going to be a speaker at the Master Gardeners meeting. We're going to be talking blueberries, and I'm going to be bringing some blueberries in pots, and we're going to be talking companions. And you can go to my growingoutthebox.com/companion blueberry bush guide, and it has every blueberry bush that you could think. Well, let me rephrase that, because we're adding blueberries every day. But if you want to know what's the best companion for your blueberry bush, go to my growingoutthebox.com blueberry bush guide, and it'll tell you which blueberries are best companions for your grow zone, what time of the year that they bloom, what time of the year that they ripen. It has all those good benefits for you to learn how to grow your blueberries and to benefit your zone. Not what I'm growing, but what you need to grow in your zone. Has northern high bushes, which is the Vaccinium coriaceum. You have the northern high bush, southern high bush, the low bush, which is the Augustifolium. We have all of those on there that are matched with your perfect combination. And I have also a perpetua. I'm looking for an echo. If anybody in here, hear what I'm saying, if anybody in here can get me an echo blueberry bush, I'll send you 2 blueberry bushes of your choice for that one echo. 2 blueberry bushes. Matter of fact, if you can get me an echo, I'll send you 3 blueberry bushes of your choice for one echo blueberry bush. That's how bad I want that blueberry bush. I have a perpetua that's also a, a double cropper. My sweetheart is a double cropper, and I want that echo to go along with those 3. I have the 3 only romantic blueberry bushes that are in existence. That's the sweetheart, the echo that I'm looking for, and my perpetua. I finally got my perpetua to grow a little bit. The first 2 years, she didn't like this because perpetua is it's a low bush, and it does not like this Georgia heat, the humidity in the Georgia heat. So I had to find the perfect location for it, and I have it now on my deck over at the garden house under a shade, so it likes that canopy that's over there. And she's putting on some really good growth. She's only going to get up to maybe 24 inches tall, 24 to 36 inches tall, but she blooms on and off all year. The only other bush that does that is the echo. I want the echo, which is also a short bush, and my sweetheart. My sweetheart will bloom twice a year, and they're called remontant. So let's see here. Yes, say echo blueberry. Growing what I eat. At what age did you start getting into gardening? That's Chad Myers asked, what age did I start getting into gardening? Well, I'm going to do a little better. My garden is only 4 years old. That's how long I've been gardening. 4 years old. My garden is only 4 years old. That's how long I've been gardening. I started off with Miss Linda, the New Orleans gardener, going into her chats. 2020 was when I first started, kind of tinkering with it, probably about the end of 2020. 2021, after finding Miss Linda, the New Orleans gardener, started hanging out in her chat and started learning a little more about the science of what I was doing and trying to figure out why things were working the way that they were working. In 2023, 2022 is when I think I really said, this is what I'm going to do. And where I used to do car shows every weekend, I haven't done a car show in, ooh, matter of fact, I haven't brought my cars out the garage since 2019. 2020, I got sick, and we ain't gonna go into that story, but I haven't even brought my cars out of the garage since 2019. I have a 56 TR3 Roadster convertible. I have a 60, no, I'm sorry, a 59 TR3 Roadster convertible. I have a 1970 Ford XL convertible. Um, I just, I'm not gonna say I lost interest. You know, the garden kind of took over, and this year I might bring them out again because I'm gonna start getting out a little more. I haven't really been getting out as much as I probably should, but I'm gonna be getting out a little more, and I think I'm gonna replace the water pump on my 56, and just get back out and start mingling a little more. And it's crazy because now when I go out, anytime I'm out somewhere, people recognize me as, you know, from Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube here. So it's really, it's been a blessing, man. Like I say, 4 years, I'm going to say officially. And I owe a lot of that to Miss Linda, the New Orleans gardener. If you guys are not subscribed to the New Orleans gardener, go over and check her out. You know, her lives, if you are a beginning gardener, even an experienced gardener, you're going to learn something by going into her lives. So I really appreciate, you know, her being a mentor of mine, you know, the New Orleans gardener. You know, we talk on the phone personally, you know, she's my girl. So I mess with Miss Linda a long way. So even no matter how big these channels get, I think we just passed 500,000 on Facebook. On Instagram, we're 419,000, and I'm not even sure what the count is on YouTube right now. I think last count we passed 250,000 on YouTube. So collectively, we're like right at 1.3 million followers altogether, and it's been a true blessing the whole way. Um, Sophie says, "I knew you had the Joker back one. I knew you was okay." Sophie said, "I knew you was a bad Joker back in the day." Uh, yeah. My cars, man. I was really into the cars at one time. Um, you know, it was something that I was doing. I'm not going to say I had a passion for it, but it was just something I was doing. My son, you know, it was the projects that we used to do together. We used to do the car shows every weekend. The whole family would gather up. This when the kids were, my daughter was still following me around. My son was, you know, my little mini me in my pocket most of the time. And the wife and I, we would all just go to the car shows on the weekends. And then my wife would like to drive. I got a Viper truck as well. And my wife would like to drive the big truck with the big engine. So she would drive that, and I would drive the little Roadster, which is like a little two-seater. Like I say, that's my 56, and that's a TR3 Roadster. I got another channel too that I started a couple of years ago. It's called TR Rehab, and you can go over there and see some of my cars over there. I don't really even post anything on there because I hate working on cars. That's the crazy part. People ask me about cars, and it's like I really don't care to even discuss cars. I really don't like working on them. I can work on them, and I will work on them, but I really don't enjoy working on cars. It was just something, a phase that I wanted to go through, something that I wanted to do with the family, raise my son with it. So now the 70 Ford XL convertible, that's my son's now. The 60 that I'm still doing work on, that belongs to my wife. The 56, that's my baby there. That's the 56 TR3 Roadster. So let's see here. Dee Dee in the Heat. What's the website for the blueberry companions? Go to growingatthebox.com, blueberry bush guide. It'll be / blueberry bush guide. But if you go to growingatthebox.com, you'll see it up on the top headers. It'll be blueberry bush guide, and it'll tell you everything that you need to know Because basically, I don't know every blueberry bush. I don't know which companions go with every bush. I go to my guide and I answer your questions based upon what my guide has. Once upon a time, I wanted to be an attorney, right? That was a long time ago. But one of the things that I always remembered about uh, one of the attorneys that I was watching, and he used to always kind of mentor me, so to speak, and try to get me to go ahead and jump into this thing, but I just wasn't that college student material. But he always said the best attorneys are not the smartest attorneys. The best attorneys have the best research department. And I've always remembered that. So when I got into gardening, that was one of the main things that I kind of focused on was research. And I find that that being true with the garden as well. So I was able to fast pace myself um, and past a lot of the learning curves because I was doing a lot of research into what I wanted to grow, why it would grow in my area, um, the least amount of work that I would have to put into growing it. And then once I started figuring out what I wanted to grow, then I wanted to figure out how to grow these things. And now we start talking about um, fermented plant juices, growing your own fertilizers, like I said, comfrey, Mexican sunflower, alfalfa. What are some of the other peanuts? I grow peanuts, I grow Mexican sunflower, I grow alfalfa, I grow comfrey, I grow Love Lies Bleeding Amaranth. All of these things that I use in my FPJs, which are fermented plant juices. And these are fertilizers that, while we're talking about fertilizer shortages, there ain't no fertilizer shortages over here. We make our own fertilizer over here. Now, I still do use stuff like blood meal and bone meal, but that's pretty much to service the garden at the beginning of the season. But then the rest of the season, until I get my crops up to standard to where I want them, because this is my first year growing the alfalfa, and I think my bed is a 12, no, it's a 16 by 3. That's what my alfalfa bed is. My comfrey is this bed that's behind me. So that bed's full of comfrey. I got some other plants growing in it as well, but it has comfrey and some other stuff growing in it. But mainly that's going to be my comfrey bed. My peanuts on this side here, the peanuts has a 722 NPK. So the peanuts, I'm working on my own blueberry bush fertilizer mix. And the peanuts is the main element on that. If you take the red skins from the peanut and you grind that down, that creates the acidity in the mix. So I can have a blend that's very similar to cottonseed meal. And what I'm trying to do is replace using cottonseed meal. So I can be basically self-sufficient. I can do everything right here in my garden. And the one thing that I'm not able to do right now is feed my blueberry bushes with my own inputs, and that is what the peanuts are doing. Again, it's the skins on the peanuts that are acidic, and when you blend those down, make them into a powder. I have my um, mill grinder that I use to grind my peanuts up with, and I grind the peanuts along with the skins, the red skins, and it gives you that acidity that you need to be able to feed those blueberry bushes. So we're doing a lot of amazing things over here, and I'm sharing it for free. You know, people say you can bottle those things up and sell them. I'm sharing it for free. You know, so that's what this thing is all about. David Corey with the crops. What's up, my brother? Yeah. David Corey, you got was that a comfrey plant that I saw in your video that got me thrown off? I think I forget what you were showing, but whatever that plant was, it was amazing, man. I think it was comfrey. Nikki Walker, what's going on, Nikki Walker? Definitely appreciate you. I appreciate you guys as well. Thanks, Mike's, for putting the link in up there. That's going directly to the website, but there's also, if you do growingoutthebox.com /blueberry bush, blueberry hyphen bush hyphen something. It'll go in there. Might go over there and see if you could put that link up into the thing. It's the Blueberry Bush Guide. Just click on that and then put the link to the Blueberry Bush Guide up in the chat if you can for me, sir. Um, you are a wealth of knowledge and I appreciate you. That's Angela Calloway. I love Angela Calloway too. She's Angela Calloway, how those blueberry bushes doing? She's got that sweetheart over there. And she supports your boy on the store as well. So again, that store, man, it's been amazing. You guys have been showing up and really supporting that store. Definitely appreciate you. Nikki Walker says that. Let's see here. She says that blueberry bush is doing great. That's amazing. And like I said, that's one of my favorite. But anytime, like I said, I got I'm doing this right here. I have 3 blueberry bushes for somebody who has that Echo blueberry bush. If you have the Echo blueberry bush and you can send that to me, I have 3 blueberry bushes I would trade you for. You can go into my store and pick any of the 3 blueberry bushes that you want. If you could send me that Echo blueberry bush, that's what I want. Growing with soul, peace and blessings, beautiful people. There it is. See that? Mike Chaotic Garden is on it. He just posted. If you click on that link right there, that's going to take you to the Blueberry Bush Guide. Again, we have Southern High Bush, Northern High Bush, Low Bush, and Half Highs. All of those in there. It's going to tell you um, what region, what grow zone you should be growing the bush in. It's going to tell you what the companion is. And when I say companion now, that does not mean that this is the only bush that will be a good companion. This just means this is the best companion that I have come up with that blooms at the same time. That is the main issue when you start talking about companions. You want bushes that bloom at the same time. When you're talking about your rabbit eyes absolutely must have a companion. Your southern, northern, low bush, and your half highs, they're all self-fertile. So, they say that you can grow them alone by themselves, but they always do better with companions. If you're wondering how my blueberries are as large as they are, it's because I grow with companions. So I appreciate you guys. But I'm going to get up out of here, man. I appreciate you guys for dropping in. Uh, if you're just coming in, go back and check out the beginning of the video when it posts back up. I'm really happy with this grapevine trellis that I've been doing. I've been working on it, the concept since last year. It's finally coming together and it's going to be up and running. Uh, like I said, I'm going to put some pole beans. I'm going to have a floating trellis on the outside of it. It's going to be a really cool little feature for the garden. Practical and cool. So until the next time, like I said, I'm going to see, what's up, Carol? I see somebody speaking to, hello from South Carolina. Kathy Baker, 154. What's going on, Kathy? Thank you for coming in. Anybody got any questions before we get out of here? Sophie says she has some comfrey. Nikki Walker, I'm definitely have to watch your replay. Thanks for sharing the knowledge. Thank you, Nikki. Um, Barry Main the Garden. Thank you for the time and a great night. MS May 9, thank you, many blessings. Um, Devora Backyard Oasis, blessings, my brother in chat. Thank you for coming in. Selena, yeah, Selena Bowie. Hello from Michigan. We're finna get out of here in a minute, Selena. Thank you for coming in. Uh, season something. Just got here. Sorry I missed you, but I watched the replay. Thank you. What's up? Compost challenge. The compost challenge. All right. We're gonna talk about the compost challenge real quick. May, and we're 2 weeks away. The 2026 compost challenge is gonna be in May. Um, I got this little project that I'm working on, Vigo Garden, and they they're compost, they're big compost bins that'll go outside. I got a whole little section that I'm building for them. I just haven't been able to get it up. But the compost challenge, we're going to do that in May because everybody should be out of their frost by then. I didn't want to start it earlier because, like I said, some people were still buried in snow. So I wanted to give everybody an opportunity to participate. But I'm going to be posting some videos, some shorts, and then I'll be over on Miss Linda's chat. Miss Linda, the New Orleans gardener, I'll be in her live with her either on a Tuesday or a Sunday. She goes live 7 Central and Sundays and Tuesdays. 7 Central, Sundays and Tuesdays. That's Miss Linda, the New Orleans gardener, T-Nog 511. So I'm going to be talking about the 2026 composting challenge. This is another thing that we need to get more into because we're spending too much money on this bad compost. With all the raised beds that I have, one of the reasons why I'm able to do it the way that I do it is because I make my own compost. 27 cubic inches or 36 by 36 by 36, 3 feet by 3 feet by 3 feet. That's all you need in a space to be able to make your own compost. And I'm going to show you how to make that compost in 18 days. That's going to be our 18-day composting challenge. The best thing I could tell you is the smaller the particle size, the faster you're going to compost. So I don't use wood chips. I don't use tree branches. I don't use any of that hard stuff. I use mostly cardboard shredded up in the paper shredder, leaves ran over with my lawnmower. The greens are going to be grass clippings. You're going to have your comfrey, Mexican sunflower, all of these things I have, but I want to use the material that the average backyard gardener is going to have. So I'm not even going to mention the comfrey. I'm not even going to mention the alfalfa. I'm not even going to mention the Mexican sunflower. Grass clippings, dandelion. These are things that most of us have around the house. Grass clipping, dandelion, leaves, and shredded cardboard. That's going to be the bulk of the mix. And anybody can do this. 18 days, if you have the finer particle parts, that's going to make that compost happen in 18 days. Do not put wood sticks in it. Wood sticks are going to take too long to compost. Again, the smaller the particle size, the faster the compost, and that's what we're doing. 18 days composting. We're going to start it in May. We'll be making some more announcements on that. So thank you all for coming in. Miss Red, can't wait to learn all that information. Yeah, that the composting thing is the greatest benefit that you're going to have in your garden, being able to create your own compost right here from all the indigenous microorganisms that are already in your garden. There's no bad compost that you could purchase that's going to be better than the compost that you make. And why do I say that? Because I can put it on the line. I can put it under a microscope, and that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be putting our compost along with anybody can name the best compost on the market, and we're going to put our compost and compare it with the compost on the market. We're going to put it under a microscope, and we're going to see what's happening in our compost compared to what's happening in the bad compost. There is absolutely no way that any bad compost can compete with the compost that you can make in your own garden. You have all your indigenous microorganisms right here, all your fungi, all your bacterias, your arthropods, everything is right here. There's no way that you can bring something in that can outcompete that. You just need to learn how to do the correct formula, and it's an 18-day composting thing. We're going to do it in 18 days, which is going to make it very fast. The smaller the particle size. So I have a 20-page paper shredder. That 20-page paper shredder, all of those Amazon boxes you got, shred those babies up. And that's going to be the bulk. Matter of fact, I have 6 55-gallon bags of shredded cardboard, 3 bags of leaves. I'm not even really focused on the leaves. I want the leaves for the aeration to kind of keep a little fluff in there. But and then we can mix in some biochar. We can make some biochar while we're composting. So in those 18 days, we're going to have so much activity going on in that pile that we can create biochar in 18 days. Charge the biochar. in 18 days. I've done it many a times, and this is going to be some of the best compost that you have ever had in your garden. This is how all of my garden beds, even though we've been in a drought, all of my garden beds are still lush and green because that compost in there that has the biochar in it and all of those microbes that I'm speaking of. So we're all going to be a part of this process. So let's see, you can recommend any compost containers. Can you recommend a compost container? You can compost on anything, really. That's Selena Bowie asked, can I recommend a compost container? They got these little, you can do like the little screens, the little cattle panels, make a circle, long as it's 36 inches, excuse me. Long as you have 36 by 36, 3 feet by 3 feet, you can build your own compost pile. You could even do it on the ground. You really don't even need one, but to have that 36 inches stacked up is really what you want. 36 inches, 26 inch cubic, 27 cubic inches, 36 inches, um, 3 feet by 3 feet. That's all you need. You can make it in anything, but you want it able to breathe. Let's see. Thank you for the time with my blueberry bushes. Uh, Timmy Turner says, thank you for the time with my blueberries, but to blend in my kitchen scraps in the blender and pour them in my compost and mix it. Now, I don't use, unless I have kitchen scraps from the onset of my compost pile, I don't add kitchen scraps to my compost pile. And here's the reason why. Once your pile is inoculated and it's starting to compost, every time you add to it, you're reversing that process. So if you want finished compost, not something that's still breaking down, but if you want finished compost in 18 days, you're going to start it on that first day and you're going to add nothing else to it once you start composting. I see a lot of people add to their cold compost pile like that, and that's fine if it's just a pile of stuff, but I don't do cold composting. All of my stuff is thermophilic composting. We want to get that temperature up to 130 to 160 degrees. That pile is going to be smoking when we finish. And that means that those bacteria are in there mating, they're multiplying, they're eating. It's a whole kind of party in there. So that's what we're looking for. Thermophilic composting, not cold composting. We're doing thermophilic composting. That's biological composting. This is the best compost that you're going to be able to make for your garden. Nothing that you can buy out of a store bag is going to compete with it. And again, Kelly, that's fine to use kitchen scraps, but what I always say is when you're cold composting, that may be fine, but I don't cold compost. I always do hot composting, so I'll gather up all my material. When I get to a certain point to where I have enough, then I'll make the whole pile. That pile is enough to fertilize my entire garden for a season. You don't need to fill your whole raised bed with compost. 16 to 20% of your garden bed should be compost. 16 to 20% should be compost. If you're doing more than that, you're really overkill. I use native soil in my garden bed, even though you seen earlier that my native soil is garbage. But you still need the minerals to go into that compost in order those beds to be for those plants to pull all the nutrients that they need. They need to be able to access the minerals that are in your soil. So I use my native soil in my raised beds as well. I mix that in. Even with the clay, I let the clay dry out and then I'll break it up and make it into a sand, and then I'll mix that in. I'll sprinkle that in and mix that into my compost. So some people might say rock dust. That's my version of rock dust. I let my clay dry out, turns into like a brittle sand, and then I blend that into my compost. You need structure in that compost, and again, the nutrients that your soil have, that compost is just not going to have. You have to have minerals that come out of your native soil, so that's why I like to mix those together. Timmy Turner says, my strawberries aren't producing like I think they should. I did the same soil mix you suggested for your blueberries, and I used the berry tone according to the direction. Any advances on the production? Any advice on the production? Well, Timmy, if you're using a blueberry bush mix on your strawberries, that may be the issue right there. Blueberries require a 4.5 to a 5.5. Strawberries require a 5.5 to a 6.5. So they're really out of their pH range. Um, what I have with my strawberries, and my strawberries are, I think, let me think of what my mix is. I do have peat moss mixed in, but it's a peat moss sand mixed in. So it's a different mix. I have peat moss, sand, and compost in my strawberry planter. It's well draining. They don't like to sit in soggy soil. Um, but if you're using my blueberry bush mix for your strawberries, that may be part of your problem right there, because that may be a little too acidic for them. You might want to address that. So maybe back off the peat moss a little bit, maybe 35% of the peat moss, and then balance that along with some sand. Add some sand in there with that 35%. Instead of doing 50% peat, do 35% peat, and then do the balance with sand. Okay, right, let's see here. I don't know if my chat's just moving slow or what. Timmy Turner says, thank you. What can I do with squash bugs? Um, Monte Florence says, what can she do with squash bugs? Now, what I'm about to say, I want some people to plug their ears. You might don't want to hear this. But for the squash bugs, I have a fix for it. I have a squash cage that I'm not going to be dealing with the squash bug anymore. But there's a plant called Pyrethrum daisy. Now, I don't recommend this for everybody, because you have to be very responsible if you're using the Pyrethrum daisy. Not pyrethroids. For anybody who just say, well, pyrethroids is a synthetic and it's a pesticide. Pyrethroids is a synthetic version of pyrethrum. Pyrethrum daisies is what I grow. You take the flowers, you make a tea out of that, and you hit that. Let's say you could take maybe 3 tablespoons of that pyrethrum daisy tea to a gallon of water. You hit that, hit those squash bugs with them. They drop straight out the sky. Pyrethrum daisies. I mean, it is serious. And it's so serious, you really have to be careful on how you use it. Just because it's organic does not mean it will not affect your pollinators, and it absolutely will. So, the best thing about the pyrethrum daisies, though, it's UV, what's the word? As the UV rays hit it, it dissipates. So if you use the pyrethrum daisies, you want to use them in the late evenings when the bees are gone in. By the time the sun starts to come up and that sunlight hits it, it degrades the potency of the pyrethrum daisy. So that's how you use it. You have to be very careful and very strategic on how you use the pyrethrum daisies. It'll knock anything out the sky. You hear what I'm telling you? Anything out the sky. Any insect in your garden, that pyrethrum daisies will take care of it. I grow pyrethrum daisies. So all of these are part of my regimen for being self-sufficient. So if I need it, I can go to it. But I'm growing in a squash cage this year, and I'm going to be showing you guys my squash cage. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. So it's a lot going on over here in the garden. Let's see. Foxy Brown, good evening. Thank you, sir. Montefies, thanks, man. Montre Florence says thank you, Monte. Any other questions before we get out of here? Let's see here. Messages on messages. Is with potential spam on messages. All right. So I guess appreciate you and your knowledge. That's Muse to Destiny. So we're gonna be getting up out of here. I appreciate you guys just hanging out with me. Lights out live. This is what I'm talking about. Them are little twinkle lights up there. Yeah, I like that. But lights out live, man. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. So y'all remember, lights out live. We talk about, we walk around the garden, show what's going on, and then after we show what's going on, we just sit down and we just chat. Lights out live. You know, I'm the only one doing it like that, so I appreciate you guys. Fun Live Mike, thank you. Um, Wanna be crafty grandma, looks so nice, thank you. Uh, Just One Ella says great live. Nikki Walker, Muse to Destiny, thank you for the super chat. Muse to Destiny, I appreciate you. Let's see here. Muse to Destiny, thank you for the super chat. Um, Growing What I Eat says peace. Um, Brittany Harris gave the peace and the love sign. Devora's backyard. Okay, now I just figured out how to make this screen bigger. I don't know what I just did, but my screen just went large. Okay, really nice. Ariana Boyer, your lights look really nice. Yeah, this is my little twinkle lights. I love these things. Little candles, floaters. They float. See that? It's pretty cool. Yeah. So again, we're gonna get out of here. Thank you all. And Muse to Destiny, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. Appreciate it. So until the next time, signing off. One and only consistency producer on YouTube. Thanks for the knowledge. That's Aurelino, Aurelino Turner. Thank you. John Pryor, awesome live. Stay blessed, brother. Miss Red. Y'all be careful in the garden after this rain. Miss Red, we ain't getting no rain down here. They're supposed to rain tomorrow, but I do not think it's gonna rain. Want to be crafty. Have a great evening, all. Appreciate all your neighbors. Thank you, Mike's Chaotic Gardening. Thank all of my moderators. Miss Linda, thank you for coming in. The New Orleans Gardener. Um, G Mama Grows, Mike's Chaotic Gardening. The OCD is Chick, Broke Farmer. Appreciate all you guys growing what I eat. Nikki Walker. Let's see who else. Gina versus Gina. What's up, fam? Thank you for coming in as we're leaving out. Let's see who else in here that we missed. Anybody in here I missed, I hate it. Um, but we finna get out of here. So let's see here. Holla.